everybody. This is Ginger here in Jim's Ranch Show here in Lakewood, and got notification rain is coming. It's 57 degrees. It was a little bit chilly last night. Hey Nancy! Hi, how's it going? I feel sorry for the guys in California. Wow, they're getting slammed by rain and flooding, and my former boss that I used to work for at Safeway, they had to evacuate from where they are, but they're safe. I hope people, especially the ranches and everything around there, that have horses and everything down in California, like Solvang and some of the areas, I hope that they're safe. All the animals and pets are safe, and everybody's safe. Getting flooding like that is devastating, and I have lived through that here in the early 1990s time frame. 1992, we had a very serious flooding issue, and I lived in a little town of Roy at the time, and but luckily my place is up on the hill. But through downtown, yeah, so do I, Nancy. Downtown, and we couldn't hold a church service that week. That one weekend when the rain first started. Rain started Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The town of McKenna, which is one town over from Roy, they were underwater, pretty much. They lost their only one watering hole tavern. Their brand new porch floated away, and that was through the Nisqually River. And they had to evacuate the seniors out of the rest home that was there. That was right along the bank. I don't know why they built the rest home right along the banks, but you think they would put it in a different place. And of course, you know, my husband is that ex-husband, well, he's my ex-husband now, but then husband was a volunteer firefighter, and they were doing rescue operations. Those that live up and down near the Nisqually River. So it was trying times. Now, so I was trying to prevent my home from being flooded. I diverted water away from the house and the driveway and had dug a little trench for the water to go somewhere else. And of course, when I was at work, I was given a bad time by a coworker who was such a you might say a radical environmentalist that doesn't really think things through. And I told her I had to do it to save my house, and I didn't want any damage to the house or the foundation. And I lived in a double-wide modular home, and I didn't want anything done to the base of it. And I said that's why I diverted the water and diverted it away from the pastures, so the horses are not standing in mud. And of course, she ignorantly chewed me out, and I chewed back at her, you know. And she started going after other people for other things in our group, and it got to the point where our supervisor transferred her somewhere else, which I was glad. I was really glad. Anyway, that was back 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. So anyway, outside of that, of course you saw my thing is Hump Day and GOP's Antics. Yeah, their antics are pretty convoluted. And I agree with good majority of those who are not all GOP. I'm talking about the radical element, the MAGA element. Okay, they're the guys that are causing the problems. The moderate and the liberal GOP, they said they're making things more difficult for other people. And basically they're saying this has to stop. And now there's a big call for Kevin McCarthy to resign. Because he has all these illegal, they feel they're illegal rules. Well, I got a little, got kind of a confusion. They said, well, they disbanded the ethics committee and everything else. Well, they can't, because per federal law, oversight law, there has to be an ethics committee. It has to be bipartisan. It's set in stone. This was set in stone years ago. This happened right after Nixon. Okay, when President Nixon was doing all this crap. And they told, a lot of people were telling McCarthy, you can't do that. You cannot dissolve the ethics committee. It's not only bipartisan, but also there's what they call the governor's board, which oversees the federal element law, the Justice Department element that oversees all this. And what the MAGAs were trying to do subcommittees and everything else. In other words, investigate the investigators, and then they try to thwart the investigations. Well, pretty much the investigation by Mr. Smith is almost done, completed, and he can turn around and threaten them for obstruction of justice, and they could be jailed for it. Well, they didn't want the MAGA did not want this to go through because they know they themselves are in trouble. Well, they need to woman up and man up, per se, and take responsibility for their actions. Anyway, the ethics committee is still there. It's still bipartisan. Yeah, and that's right, Nancy. He is. And I think now the majority of the, because there are a number of GOP that dropped out of the Freedom Caucus, and the Freedom Caucus was being taken over by the radical element like MTG and Gates and Jordan, some of the others, and it's saying no. And also, there were a lot of Republicans that voted with the Democrats against the rules package. Well, there are 4 rules in there that are secret. Well, so it's going to come out sooner or later because it is public record, and they cannot hide it. So, people could do the Freedom of Information Act and request the information. Anybody could. Also, George Santos of New York, he is being, by the committee, the GOP committee of New York, of Nassau County, which is the seat of Long Island, because he's representing Long Island. They want him to resign because of all the lies and the election fraud that he's done. If he's being investigated for election fraud in New York. Also, a lot of other members, they filed a ethics complaint against him with the ethics committee. And if the ethics committee sits there, some of the other, the radical element trying to protect Joe Santos, then they're committing fraud themselves. They're accessories. So it needs to be cleaned up on that. In many ways, I wish Mr. Jeffries was Speaker of the House. He wouldn't allow this. I'm sorry. He wouldn't allow this to happen, ever. So, anyway, Santa's been served. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Now, as you probably heard the other day, after President Biden, previously when he was vice president, he ran the Penn Biden Center for the moonshot, cancer moonshot, and he ran that until even after he finished his term as vice president. He still ran that, and he was at, for a short time, he was professor of University of Pennsylvania, which he taught there as well. But he also ran the Penn Biden office for a cancer moonshot. Well, this office is about, 3/4 of a mile from Capitol, from the White House. Anyway, it's in the metropolitan area. And when the lawyers were cleaning everything office out, their lease was running out, and they didn't want to renew the lease. And he said it's being moved. That particular project's being moved to the University of Pennsylvania itself. So somebody else is taking it over for him, since he is now president of the United States. He's doing it ethically, okay? But when they were shutting down the office and cleaning everything out, they found in this one closet, by itself, there was nothing else in there except there was a box. Well, they took the box down, set it on a table, they opened the box. In there were not top secret, but secret files, government files in there. And how they got there, nobody knows yet, but they're investigating. But anyway, the lawyers there, his lawyers there, and the lawyers for the Penn Biden thing immediately called the archives and said, we got this, and we're giving this to you guys right away. And so the archives people came by, as well as the CIA officers who came by, picked it up, and well, I don't think it's a big deal either, Nancy, because it was instantly reported. And number two, how did that box get there? I'm beginning to think that, I'm wondering if the GOP was trying to frame President Biden, trying to frame him. Because that was the only thing that was there. And President Biden says he does not remember seeing that box there in that particular closet. He said the closet was basically used for catch-all things in there. Office supplies and everything else. And how it got there, he doesn't know. And that's what they're checking out. But the National Archives people and the Justice Department says it's been reported, it's been picked up, and there's nothing else. So that case is closed. President Biden is not in trouble because they did the right thing. Whereas with Trump, there was evidence of him showing him taking a whole bunch of boxes and everything down to Mar-a-Lago, and he did have those documents there, and he was trying to hide them, and he was pulling all these lying tricks. Yeah, this is what made me think. I was kind of wondering if there wasn't framed, planted evidence. Because there was talk of a subcommittee or some kind of committee in the House to start impeachment proceedings against President Biden. And so they needed some kind of evidence against him. Well, you know what? That's not going to go through. Because on impeachment hearings, it requires both the House and the Senate to do the impeachment hearings from each branch. And you know the Senate's not going to do it. McCarthy said, not McCarthy, but McConnell said it's not going to happen. And even Mr. Schumer, who is the majority leader there, said it's not going to happen. He says the radical element over in the House. Yeah, it won't go. Well, it won't go through the Senate. Remember, Nancy, when the impeachment proceedings were against Trump, how it was set up? They had, some from the House, but also some from the Senate. Well, the Senate mostly handled the impeachment. The House normally would initiate impeachment resolution or whatever, and then the Senate would, handle it. Well, the Senate said no. We'll probably say no. Or they will say no, let's put it this way, because we got more important things we need to do. No, it won't go to the Senate. And some of these other things, like the House wanted to cut back on Medicare and all the other social programs, well, that's going to be a tough uphill battle for them, because people are going to say no. We need to keep it where it is. So when you hear all these scare tactics, well, they're going to do this and do that, they have a very slim majority in the House. And with them fighting among each other, I'm sorry, with them fighting among each other, we're going to see a big contrast there. And if they want any bills to go through, well, the Democrats are going to thoroughly study those bills and say, nope, kick it back, try again, okay? Use common sense here, okay? So anyway, with President Biden and those files, I'm not going to worry about it. Because the media was, at first they were making a big deal out of it, but when the National Archives said it's all said and done, it's taken care of, and, let's move on. Yeah, well, you know what they really need to do? They need to have somebody from, the radical element that doesn't really understand how this works, is trade places with somebody who is receiving Social Security and worked for 30 years for a company. And in other words, trade places. And so a lot of these guys, many of these guys that don't understand it, they need to walk in other people's shoes to really understand where they're coming from and why Social Security was. Social Security has been going on for 80 plus years. And it's worked just fine. And sure, there's been some modifications made and everything else, but it could be made better. And And of course, yes, we pay into it. But one thing they do need to change is not tax us twice for it. We already paid the taxes on, paid into it while we were working, right? Well, when we're retired, we should not be required to pay taxes on it again, because we're not really working anymore. We're just receiving the money that we have stowed away in that kitty. Okay? So they need to revoke that. That they need to stop taxing the Social Security and just let people use the money freely for whatever they need to, and not having to pay income tax on it. Because it's not really true income. It's not. And we should not be taxed twice for it. It should be just a one-time thing. That's one of my pet peeves, okay? And I think the tax code needs to be really modified. It needs to be fixed up and modified, and not be so, it contradicts each other. You know, and there's set of rules and regulations. Rules and regulations kind of go like this. Instead of working together, you kind of contradict each other. And, you know, oh, hi, Carol. I'm sorry I didn't see you. Sorry about that. But, you know, that's one of my pet peeves. We need to fix the tax code. Because Trump screwed it up. Not only that, but Reagan screwed it up, too. You should have not done this trickle-down economics thing, because that doesn't work. That math doesn't really exist. Really doesn't. So anyway, on to other things. Of course, you know, starting yesterday, click on that. Let's see what else. Okay. Anyway, that happened yesterday, late yesterday. The flight computers that, you know, run, you know, like your, oh, what do you call it? Your navigation, everything, through FAA runs it. Well, their computer system went down. So the pilots and the control towers had nothing to go by in order to direct air traffic. GPS systems went down. So they got that fixed very early this morning. FAA at that time shut down all flight operations that were going on. I'm kind of wondering about that, why I didn't hear any air traffic lately. Reminded me too much after 9/11 when there's no air traffic. Anyway, the FAA has now fixed that computer system, that infrastructure computer system for that, and it's now cleared all aircraft, planes that can start flying again. But they're doing gradual rolling operations. It depends on the airline, it depends on the schedule. Also, they'll do air shipping through UPS that does air shipping. I think DHL does flight shipping too. It's back up and running, which is good. And another good news, my desk will be here today, my brand new desk. And so, after this, I gotta go down and get the mail. I'll be cleaning this up, and I'll be doing a before picture, and then I'll do an after picture. And also, yes, I need to still post my pictures for my moving. So, Yeah, this desk, new desk is much better. It's a little longer, wider, and it's got some uh, nice storage areas, and set it up, and it's long enough, wide enough this way, where I could put my laptop over here. And this tower here, the computer tower, will be going down there, and I would have a lot more space on my desk, so it'll be much, much better. And of course, rearrange stuff in my a little bit in my living room here. I moved my floor exercise pedal bicycle. It's a floor thing. I moved it out to the living room. And I'll be using my laptop to watch the exercise videos too. Help with that. But I won't do that until this is done. So anyway, as far as idiotic situations that's happened back in the House of Representatives, I wish I could go in there and just slap a few heads. You know, no, you work for the people. You don't work for yourselves. You work for the people. And you don't work for corporations. Corporations need to be booted out. And also they need to put in a resolution to overturn Citizens United and get rid of it. It needs to go away. And corporations should not get involved in political donations either. I think all political donations, that pays for advertising, travel, things like that, that should be from the regular citizens, citizens of the United States, not corporations. I always believe that corporations are not people. It's an entity. That's all it is. It's made up. It's an entity. And when somebody says, oh, well, corporations are people. No, they're not. They're not real people. So that needs to be given the boot. Also, they need to revamp the tax code where corporations pay the highest amount of taxes, because they use the infrastructure too. They use the railroads, they use roads, they use, flying, whatever, to conduct their business. One thing I don't like corporations are doing, and they're forgetting one little detail, they're forgetting why they went into business in the first place and how they treat their employees. You don't sit there and lay off employees with the panic of this and that and the other and refusing to pay taxes. And I go, well, if you're going to be like that, then you have no business being in business. Or take that business and turn it over to your employees and let it be employee-owned. Because they know it best. They're the guys on the front line. So, anyway, it's almost time for me to sign off. But anyway, I will see you guys later. And I will still do my rant on Friday. I'll do it as usual on Friday and everything else. But I'll be shut afterwards. I'll be shut down for the day. But I will use my laptop to keep in contact. And then be back up and running on Monday. And I'll take an after picture of my desk on Monday in the setup. So, give you guys something to look forward to. So, anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I'll see you on Friday, 1 o'clock, Ginger's Rant Show. I will post this video on my YouTube channel. And also I'm working on doing an introduction for my YouTube channel as well. Get that fixed up. So I'm revving up my PowerPoint to do that. So I'll do some kind of sign design or something and just put that on my YouTube thing creator. Now, YouTube has now allowed what they call YouTube Shorts. And for those that want to earn money quickly through that, and I'm looking at doing YouTube Shorts for that. So, I might do one like for like a small subject or something like that, or topic of the day. You know, do it that way. So, anyway, I will see you guys later. Love to all, and I'll see you on Friday. Okay? Be sure to insist, persist, and push back. Okay? Love you all. Bye-bye. Oh, and share. Bye-bye.